This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazoff.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Glazoff Gang. Tonight, Moms for Liberty, the silencing of parents and parents fighting back. With us this evening, Tiffany Justice, the co-founder of momsforliberty.org. Tiffany, what an honor and a privilege to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So look, this is such an inspiring thing that Moms for Liberty is doing. Why don't we just begin with you telling us what your mission is all about?
Absolutely. I think that conservatives have forgotten about education. And I think we're seeing the impact of that rippling across the United States as we see changes in curriculum, and parents, rightly so, are concerned about what kids are learning in classrooms. And I think that conservatives across the country recognize the time is now to stand up and to fight and to realize that we need to be aware and running for school board and being more involved in what our children are learning in our public schools.
This is fantastic, Tiffany, because look, I dedicated my life to fighting the left. And we know that the left fights culture war 24/7. And the problem with a lot of conservatives is they don't understand culture war, they don't fight it, and while the left does so much damage. And we know that they go at the kids, at the children. And so I want to get to this now, and I'm so inspired by this group. And you're going to be doing so many vital, important things. Now, tell us about the Parents' Bill of Rights.
So locally in Florida, I served as a school board member for 4 years, from 2016 to 2020, November of 2020. And so I was part of the school board here locally, creating a plan to deal with COVID and going back to school. But as you know, Florida led in that area. Ron DeSantis and Richard Corcoran said, schools need to open. We need to have schools open for kids. So here in Florida, we felt like we were 6 months to 12 months ahead of the rest of the country. So while our schools were opening and we were tackling different areas about quarantining, about masking requirements and those things, and we saw really vast differences from county to county in Florida. So it was a very interesting study about how parental rights, and I'm working on that right now, how parental rights varied even in a state that seemed to be very open. The Parents' Bill of Rights became so important because we have seen that parents have been pushed out of public education for years. But with COVID, what we've really seen is that parents have physically been pushed out of public education. We asked recently on a poll on our Facebook page, our national page, and we have 15 chapters across 10 different states currently. We have 50 pending chapters. So we're actively working in a grassroots fashion to empower moms across the country. And we asked them, do you have access to your child's classroom? And 87% of the parents said that they did not.
And Tiffany, which is really frightening, because when we study what's going on in several parts of the country, they have the children praying now to very strange entities in some places, very strange things going on in California, what they have children praying to. We also know that they teach this critical race theory. They shame, the white students about white privilege, quote unquote. There's cases also now about pronouns being used by the kids, a lot of transgender issues starting. We know about these transgender men or women doing twerking in front of kids across the country without any knowledge or permission of the children. This is pretty frightening stuff, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And what we see locally in Florida is we've seen that with the Parents' Bill of Rights, and it's passed the House, it's going on to the Senate now. We're hoping for a Senate floor vote on Wednesday for it to pass the Senate. And what it's doing is really simply outlining what parents' rights are so that there's a roadmap for the engagement between parents and schools. If you don't know what the boundaries are for you as a parent, how can you effectively advocate? And in a system that right now is currently stacked against parents, it's very important that we give parents all of the tools in their toolbox that they need to effectively advocate for their child. We believe parents know best for their kids, that they love them, and they should be considered the expert in their child's education. They should be a partner in the decision-making process for their kids. And we know that there are moms across this country that are smart and ready to fight with us. It's going to take an army, Jamie, but we can do it.
Tiffany, absolutely. And it's even incredible that you have to say this, because it's such common sense. And yet the opposite is happening in the country, with the left having taken over the unions and et cetera, et cetera. But there's almost this premise, well, I wouldn't even say almost, there's this assumption that mom and dad need to butt out. The state is educating the children. And it's almost like this co-parenting situation. This isn't co-parenting, right?
No, you're absolutely right. I have said before, I am not looking to co-parent with my children's school. I would like a partner in education. I'm looking for professionals that would like to teach my child. I recognize the value of teachers. I respect the role of teachers in my children's life, but they need to be professionals, and they need to recognize that there are boundaries in what that partnership looks like. And it's time for parents to stand up and say, here are where the boundaries are. You teach the ABCs, I'll take care of the birds and the bees, right? To put it very simply. And let's take our power back as parents. The only way you lose your power as a parent is when you give it away. So it's time for parents to recognize these are our children, and we will fight for them. And public education can exist with a partnership with parents.
Well, Tiffany, what you're saying sounds beautiful, but in terms of what we know about the left and what its goals are, they are probably just seething at what you're saying, because this could get in the way of them, getting the agenda of transgenderism, attacking the nuclear family, teaching kids that America is this evil country, the worst country in the world. So I can bet that you've received some backlash or a fight from the left. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I'm sure you've gotten a lot of support, but has there been also some anger from leftists?
There has been some anger, and it comes out, Jamie, in really kind of aggressive and not nice ways. We've received some, I guess, fake excrement in the mail. I don't really even know how to talk about it, but someone paid a certain amount of money to send us what apparently was fake poop. Everyone told me it was fake poop. I did not care. It looks like poop. It was not a nice thing.
Well, this is the way that leftists behave. It's not surprising.
Well, and if you'd like to talk again, my own personal experiences in my district have been interesting recently. I wanted to talk about Moms for Liberty today, but the reason that I'm a part of Moms for Liberty, the reason that I'm the co-founder, is because I have 4 children in public school. And I believe that there is a lot of benefit and diversity in the classroom, and it builds critical thinking skills for my children to go to school with lots of different kids with lots of different perspectives and backgrounds, and to talk about important issues, because I want truly for my kids to be with their peers, the problem solvers of the world. I want to see us empower them, unfold their full potential, right? And I love public school, but what I'm seeing is that parents don't trust public school anymore. And I don't know what that looks like for the future of public education. So you talked a little bit about unions. We had an issue locally here where there is apparently a 24-hour notice that has to be given to teachers before a parent is allowed to observe any teaching happening in the classroom. And I asked to attend a class with my child, and I was told that there would need to be a 24-hour notice. And when I asked the board about that specifically, this policy to keep parents out of classrooms, I was told that it was a impact bargaining issue, that it would have to be brought before the union to discuss parental rights, the right of a parent to access a child's classroom. And that, to me, has to change.
Scary, very, very scary. Tiffany, we look into, like even what's happening right now, like with the lockdowns, this vaccine stuff, there's Bill Gates, and you kind of look into Bill Gates, and this guy wasn't really elected for anything. Then you look into Fauci, then you investigate who elected this guy. Why are these guys talking so much? When you look into the people making the decisions, what your children will be taught, are these elected officials?
Yeah. So there's something that Tina and I have talked about called the education curtain. And once you serve as an elected official, you get to peek behind the education curtain. In fact, you get to kind of live there, and you get to see the way that unions and bureaucrats and politicians work together. And bureaucrats, as we have seen through the COVID pandemic, have risen up into positions of decision making where they were not elected representatives, and yet they are making decisions that are affecting, as you said, what's happening in our children's classrooms. So there's a big issue for weak politicians that are listening to bureaucrats, covering their behinds. To be honest with you, as a mom, I've got 4 kids. We don't have a lot of time to waste. And the truth is, I've seen it. I've seen the Department of Health overreach into the school district. I've seen elected school board members be weak in their position in claiming their authority to make what they believed were to be the best decision for children, because there was a lot of pressure from bureaucrats, unelected officials, who were saying to us, well, this is the recommendation. This is what you have to do. And if you don't do this, the dirtiest word in America today is liability. And in public education, it is a restriction that knows no bounds.
Wow. Well, Tiffany, we support you so much. This is such a vital battle to fight, and you're on the front lines now. All power to you. Now, I've done my homework on your group, and very exciting stuff, because this isn't just Florida now. You're organizing chapters all around the country now, right?
We are. So Tina Deskovich and I were board members from 2016 to 2020. We served in school board districts that were right next to each other. We didn't know each other well when we were serving, but as the COVID pandemic grew and school boards were making hard decisions, Tina and I saw each other as we had a commonality, in that we were the only conservatives on the side of many votes. So it was a lot of 4-1 votes with Tina and I on the bottom side of that vote. We started Moms for Liberty because we believe in the power of parents.
Fantastic. And Tiffany, so lots of things parents can and should start doing if they're not already. Volunteering in classrooms. That would be a nightmare for leftists trying to indoctrinate kids. Meeting with teachers, building relationships with administration, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yep, we continue to question why teachers pay dues to unions, because we don't see a lot of value in the representation. Parents want to support teachers. Parents need to get more involved. We are having chapters that have grown across the country. We started in Florida. We have chapters across now 10 states, 15 different chapters. If you'd like to start a chapter and you're watching this show, go to momsforliberty.org, go to the Start a Chapter page, click the link, and you can fill out a form. We'll contact you and we'll have a conversation about what's going on in your community and how we can help empower you to make a difference.
Fantastic. Okay, one more time, just to make sure. There's a lot of parents right now on the edge of their seat, inspired and thinking, hey, look, I want to get more involved in my children's education and find out exactly what they're being taught. So they go to momsforliberty.org, right?
Absolutely. Go to momsforliberty.org, click the link to start a chapter, find a chapter near me, join the national chapter, and just request some more information about what we're doing. You can join that way as well. And we believe in the power of parents. We are the many, and we can help to save the future of America.
Tiffany Justice, thank you so much for standing up for mom and dad, for the children, And it's great to have Moms for Liberty.
And dads and grandparents and community members, we want everyone to join. You don't have to just be a mom. You just have to want to be someone that wants to help the youth of America to have a bright future.
Amen. Tiffany Justice, thank you so much for joining the Glazov Gang. We wish you the best in your battles.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. And thank you for watching the Glazov Gang this evening. Make sure you go to momsforliberty.org, momsforliberty.org, and you don't have to be a mom. You just have to be invested in America's children's education, and a fair one. And we'll see you soon on the Glazov Gang. Good night.